Hello everybody, my name is Jackie and welcome to Prairie Sports Talk, the podcast where we talk about sports that directly impact the Canadian Prairie. And today is April 18th, 2024, and we got a few interesting stories to talk about, to say the least. So, we're going to talk about the first three games of the WHL playoff series between the Swift Current Broncos and the Moose Jaw Warriors, as well as another hockey-related story. The Arizona Coyotes are moving to Utah. Utah. Not Quebec City, Utah. But I have a lot to say about both these topics, so let's get into it. And real quick, before we properly get into the episode, a massive congratulations to the Canadian team in the Women's World Hockey Championships. They beat the US team in overtime to claim gold. It's been a tremendous year for women's hockey. I can't wait to see what the future holds for just everything regarding it. The PWHL, these continuing Women's World Championships, the Olympics in a couple of years. It's been a truly amazing privilege to be able to watch the game grow this year, and I really hope it continues to grow in the coming years. But anyway, on to the complete and utter chaos of the second round of the WHL playoffs between the Moose Jaw Warriors and the Swift Current Broncos. This has certainly been a series. That's about the most descriptive thing I can say about it without going into too much detail. Game 1, Swift Current won on the road in Moose Jaw, 7-2. Game 2, also in Moose Jaw won 7-2. Yes, both Game 1 and 2 ended up in 7-2 victories for either side. And then Game 3, just this past night as I'm recording this, it was a very odd game, to say the least. Broncos came out firing and got the first goal. And then Moose Jaw really fired back before the period was over and got 3 goals. They took a 3-1 lead into the second. But then early in the second, the Broncos got 2 quick goals, including Owen Pickering getting his first of the playoffs. Love that. I love to see the captain getting involved. But that would be about the closest the Broncos would come, despite some heroics from Reed Dick saving more than a few sure goals for Moose Jaw, keeping the Broncos in the game. Moose Jaw ended up getting another goal to take a 4-3 lead at the end of the second, and in the third, the Broncos just looked tired and defeated. And Moose Jaw would end up taking the game 5-3 after an empty net goal. It's painful. These last 2 games have been very painful to watch. Moose Jaw has just had the Broncos' number. They've outworked them, they've outplayed them, they've just wanted it more than the Broncos. The Broncos are better than this and they need to play like it. I don't know what is going on with the Broncos right now in this round. I don't know if they just got cocky after winning the first 5 games of the playoffs, or if just Moose Jaw has noticed a weakness in the Broncos defense or something. But Moose Jaw has just beaten the Broncos in every aspect of the game. And as I'm recording this, Game 4 in Swift Current is tonight. Now, this video goes up on Thursday after Game 4. Game 4 is a must-win for the Broncos. Now, technically, it's not. There will be a Game 5, but let me put it this way. Moose Jaw is not going to drop that game at home if they have the chance to eliminate the Broncos. The Broncos need to win Game 4 or this series is basically done. We're not going to see a miraculous comeback if the Broncos go down 3-1 in this series. This isn't the Cleveland Cavaliers and Golden State Warriors. These teams may despise each other, but they're so evenly matched that if Moose Jaw gets the momentum from 3 consecutive wins and they head home to their barn, Swift Current likely won't be able to counteract that momentum. It's painful as a Broncos fan to watch your team struggle like this. It really is, because I believe this Broncos team is something special, and the Broncos have taken a real shot to try and get to the edge north this season. And I feel like if they don't get it this season, it might take 2 or 3 years to build another Broncos team that might be able to get that deep into the playoffs. I know it is a very tough path for the Broncos to get to the edge north, because they have to go through Moose Jaw, and almost definitely whoever wins this series will probably have to go through Saskatoon. But at the end of the day, I think the Broncos have the team that has a team good enough to beat both other teams. They just need to play like it. And these last 2 games, they really haven't. Now, I hope by the time this episode is going live, that the Broncos have evened the series up at 2-2. But at this point in time, at 2:14 p.m. on April 17th, I'm not overly optimistic. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know what the NHL is doing. Plain and simple, I don't know. Because despite years and years of Quebec and all of Canada begging the NHL to bring back the Quebec Nordiques, despite the failing Arizona Coyotes, the Quebec Nordiques are still way off in the distant future. Meanwhile, the Coyotes, for some unknown reason, have chosen Utah, of all places, to relocate to. Utah! I'm sorry? Until like January, I hadn't heard anything from Utah about them wanting an NHL team. And less than 4 months later, they're getting it? And as if that wasn't already confusing enough, apparently the soon-to-be former owner of the Arizona Coyotes is going to have a window to bring another team to Arizona to become the 33rd team in the NHL. Arizona is going to get a second franchise before Quebec gets a second shot with the Nordiques. And it's not even going to be 5 years after the Coyotes leave. We're talking 2, maybe 3 years down the road, there will be a 33rd NHL team, and they will be in Arizona. Again. Oh my God. I don't know what is going on. I really don't. This infuriates me. Because despite the fact I'm a St. Louis Blues fan, I still love Canadian hockey. I mean, like, I'm a Canadian, born and raised. I have a relative who has played for multiple Canadian teams. Eddie Litzenberger, my cousin, he played for the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs. He also spent some time in Chicago and Detroit as well. But my family really focuses on his time in Toronto and Montreal. And I have a cousin who is currently the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. I'm related to Chris Knobloch. And so Canadian hockey has a very special place in my heart. I mean, like, no duh. I work for the Swift Current Broncos too. I've been there for 6 years. Canadian hockey is just in my blood. So the fact that the NHL looks at Canada and just is like, do you guys already have too many teams? Maybe we should move the Winnipeg Jets again. That annoys me a lot. And the fact that Utah is getting a team before Quebec and Arizona is going to get another team, but also before Quebec, this really annoys me, because what natural rivals does Utah have? Because you put a team in Quebec, they have a natural rivalry with the Montreal Canadiens. They have a natural rivalry with every Canadian team just simply because they're in Canada as well. And it's just, I'm very passionate about this and I'm very annoyed by this. Because Utah just seems like such a random place to put a hockey team. Now, don't get me wrong, Salt Lake deserves a hockey team down the road. Not right now. Now, I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad place to put a team. I understand why they might want to put a team in Utah. But I don't understand why they want to do it before Quebec. Canada lives and breathes hockey. Football may be my place of expertise, so to say, but that doesn't mean I don't know hockey inside and out. If you live in Canada and you follow sports, you know hockey just simply because of where you live. So the fact that instead of trying to expand the Canadian market, they're just ignoring us again, it feels like a slap in the face. Okay, I need to calm down. I am just incredibly upset about this. Now, technically, it's not a done deal that the Arizona Coyotes will move to Utah. But it's basically a done deal. They're going to sell the team to investors in Salt Lake and they're going to move the team. They're just waiting for Board of Governors' permission. I am just incredibly frustrated. If Arizona gets the 33rd hockey team in the NHL and Quebec doesn't get that team, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed. But enough of my ranting and rambling. That's everything I have for you guys this weekend. If you like this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to it on Spotify, be sure to follow the 13th Man Podcast Network. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, that is JACKYKNOBS. That is Jackie Knobs. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great night, a great whatever. Stay safe, stay strong, you got this. And this is Jackie from Prairie Sports Talk signing off.